Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Wednesday. Welcome to Game Day Live, presented by the Let's Go Devils podcast network and the Primetime Radio studios, along with and Crew Brew. My name is Vinnie Parisi here with Shorts Guy as we get you set for New Jersey Devils hockey as they are ready to take on the Washington Capitals. Welcome to all fans watching on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch. The Devils are 3-1-1, looking to get a couple more wins in the bag. Shorts Guy, how you doing?
Doing good, Vinny. How you doing?
Doing very good. The Devils, they got off to a little bit of a rocky start to their NHL season, going 1-1-1. That's a lot of teams would sign up for that start. Yeah. But, they were starting slow in some of these games, not looking very good in the first period. They still haven't scored first in any of their 5 games that they've played so far this season. But, got a couple wins in a row now, starting to look like the team that we expect them to be, starting with last night's game in Montreal, where they dominated the Montreal Canadiens after go down 1-0 and having a goal waved off. One thing we know for sure to start this season is that the Devils, they, just like last year, know how to handle adversity, at least in the early going. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, went down early, came back. It was a big win. 5-2 I want to say it's a statement game, but it's against Montreal, who was towards the bottom of the league last year, which they're playing better, but it's still Montreal. I am happy because, Toffoli and Jack were monsters for my fantasy team last night. So I am thrilled with that. A hat trick and 4 assists between the two of them, and it was just short of 20 points. So I'm happy with that, but I'm also happy with a win, and I'm also happy that we come back on the backside of this back-to-back, in which we will hopefully get another win tonight against the Caps. I think tonight will be a little bit more difficult than last night. And I think tonight with Ovi in the building and what he's chasing, will anytime Ovi's in the building is going to be a special thing with the accomplishments he's chasing. But, we got to remember that, it's a Devils home game and we want a Devils victory. And, Akira Schmid's on my fantasy team too, so I'll take some points there too.
Absolutely. So, first of all, Shorts Guy's fantasy team just sounds like it's buzzing right now the hands of the New Jersey Devils. Oh,
I am 0-2.
Oh, he's 0-2. Well, at least the Devils are 3-1-1 on behalf of the few guys on your fantasy team that are producing.
I'll take that over a good fantasy record.
100%. So, Alexander Ovechkin, he's dominated the Devils a lot in his career, but he's got 823 goals. He's dominated just about everybody. He has scored on the third most in NHL history, 170 unique goaltenders. That became a thing yesterday when he scored a goal on Joseph Woll of the Toronto Maple Leafs. He has scored on Schmid, so I think he scored on Schmid. I actually don't know that for a fact. I know he scored on Vanacek. Yeah, I wonder. But, his 600th career goal came against the Devils. The Devils ended up winning that game. I believe it was a Damon Severson overtime goal, if I remember correctly, or he scored late in regulation, something like that. But, yeah, he's always played the Devils well, and, it's always exciting to see the Devils play against them. I agree with you.
Yeah, he's one of those talents that, the league has had, and we're not going to see the likes of him like we're not going to see the likes of Gretzky again. We're not going to see the likes of McDavid again or Crosby. So, while, yeah, we're all Devils fans here, we want a Devils win, but we also got to realize for the love of the game that someone like Ovechkin is also just so good for the game and it's just one of those special talents where you get to see him play, and that's awesome. And we've had a bunch of players like that throughout the years, but you know, it's one of those things, especially with when the career like his is coming towards the twilight. You kind of have to take in all those games to be a little bit more special every chance you get a chance to see him. Kind of like we did with Brodeur here. When Brodeur's career was coming to the end, it's like all those games that we had with Brodeur towards the end, you kind of held a little tighter and you paid a little bit more attention.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And it's an exciting time. The Devils play the Capitals a lot. We've seen Ovechkin a lot. Yesterday, he pumped out 13 shots on goal, and he got one to, break the barrier against the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm a little glad that happened, because if he came in today with pumping out 13 shots on goal yesterday and no goals to show for it, I like to think he'd nice and angry and ready to score,
Extra motivated, and the league wants him extra motivated. That's without a doubt. So they want to see him do well. They want to see him score. But at the same time, we want the Devils to shut him down tonight, so that the highlight isn't his goal, so that the highlight is hopefully our eventual win at the end of the night.
Absolutely. And so when it comes to the Devils and getting that win, obviously a heavy emphasis is going to be put on the play of Jack Hughes, who has just been absolutely phenomenal.
Lights out.
And I don't really think it's hard to argue that he's been the best player in the NHL this season so far. I know Austin Matthews is right there. McDavid's hurt, but he's always in the mix. Cale Makar has been otherworldly. But I think Jack Hughes has to be right there, and the Devils are in a good spot in the standings, largely thanks to his performance. He kind of is allowing them to get through some of like the kinks that they have to work through to start the season, because he's been so dominant.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the only player right now that's rivaling Jack is DeBrincat. Those two are neck and neck right now for top player in the league, because both have been carrying their teams. And, you're right. Jack is dragging us through some of these games early on in the season. And what is this? Is this game 5 or 6? I don't even really know.
This is game 6.
Game 6. It looked a little iffy at times in the beginning there, but Jack has not looked iffy at all. Jack has looked on his game from the start, from game 1, when Sam and I were sitting in the seats down there, over here in the Prudential Center, the 14th or whatever that was, the 12th, 14th, whatever that home opener was. Jack was looking sharp from game 1. And we have to remember that he's going to have dips during this season. He's not going to play lights out all season long. It's virtually impossible for any player to do so. So let's enjoy this right now and know that if he does take a dip, he will eventually come back to it. But for right now, holy hell, he is the guy right now for this team. And that's what we need.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me if, he could go like 5 games in a row without a point, and he would still be on pace for 100 points. So it's one of those types of starts where, I think if he stays healthy, he can be considered like a Hart Trophy candidate, and the Devils will be going to the playoffs. And for me, it was really nice to see him help Nico Hischier get on the board. I think Nico Hischier is just as important to this team as Jack Hughes. He's their second best player, and he's been great in all 3 zones. Like you said, exactly. We weren't worried about Nico Hischier, but it is nice to see him producing offense. And I think having a goal waved off yesterday, I was like, damn, is it just going to be one of those types of seasons for Nico? And then he comes out and scores 1 period later. I'm like, nope, this is the captain. Let's go, Nico.
Yeah, right? So I don't want to make this sound too fantasy heavy, but one of my teammates last night, we were in the locker room after the game, he drafted Nico Hischier, and Nico scores that goal. He had him on his bench. So take that, Marty Lynn. But yeah, Nico's the type. Nico's not a flashy player. Nico is that grind. I don't even want to call him a grinder. I don't even know how to describe Nico. Nico's just that all-around player that will do what he needs to do for this team, not only as the captain, but just as that all-around player, where Jack is the flashy, face of the team. As much as Nico as the captain is also a face of this team, it's a whole different style. And Nico is going to do that off the puck work, that work on the the work with the puck that's not going to be counted as a primary or secondary assist, but like that guy that passes to the secondary assist guy. And that's his role, and he's going to score goals. Let's not, he didn't get here for not scoring. He's a great all-around player. Right now, the scoring face of this franchise is Jack, and it's looking like Toffoli as well. As much as we want Bratt to be that guy too, Toffoli with a hat trick last night, and I know we spoke before the game. I didn't get a chance to watch the game last night because I had two games, which were miserable, last night of my own. But I know that Jack, I believe, passed the puck with an empty net to Toffoli to give him the hat trick.
Yes. Yes, he did.
That is such a non-selfish play. And you're seeing a player like Jack Hughes who is potentially going for the scoring title. I know it's early. It's Game 6. It's early, whatever. But potentially going for a scoring title, potentially going for a Hart Trophy. With an empty net opportunity, passes it to one of his teammates for a hat trick. That shows a lot about a player's character versus anything else.
Absolutely. He's one of those guys, like he wears the A on his sweater permanently now. He's one of the leaders on the team.
Oh, yeah.
He showed it yesterday. Not enough was made about Toffoli getting that hat trick against his old team, one of the teams that let him go. And once he did leave them, he really started to turn it on a little bit extra. Like his role in Los Angeles when they were winning Stanley Cups was definitely like a secondary depth player. He was on the That 70s line with I think it was Jeff Carter and Tanner Pearson, I want to say was the That 70s line.
Yeah.
And here they are all these years later. Toffoli's one of the best wingers in the NHL. And the Devils are super lucky. Our friend Dan Rice, he came on my other hockey podcast a couple weeks ago, and he talked about the Devils having the best top 9 in the NHL. And a large part of that is because they replaced Sharon Govich with Toffoli, and he has just been otherworldly over the last handful of games. And I'm happy to see him doing it because he's a veteran. He'll help Jack Hughes. He'll help Jesper Bratt, Nico Hischier. Whoever needs Toffoli's experience at the forefront will get it. Yeah, what a game yesterday to have the hat trick.
Yeah, I know. I'm bummed out that I missed yesterday's game. I'm bummed out that I missed just the wild night of hockey with 16 games. Like, man, I'm so bummed that I had games last night because I really would have loved to have watched that. Not only the Devils play, but the whip-arounds that they were having, with yesterday's game, all of yesterday's games, and the stagger starts. I thought that was great for the league, but yeah, yesterday, as a Devils fan, I also think that, man, just a 5-2 victory last night going into today, I think is fantastic.
Absolutely, and so you're taking on this Washington Capitals team who are not the Washington Capitals of old. We do acknowledge that Alexander Ovechkin, even last year, years past, he's always been very, very good when he plays the Devils, but I do think there is a sense of he's been very, very good against everybody. He has 823 goals. The guy's been a menace against everybody he plays against. So, they're not the same team that they were a couple years ago when they won the Stanley Cup. They're off to a 1-3-1 start. Is this a trap game for the Devils, or do you think they really should be able to come in here and take care of their business?
I mean, it can be a trap game for the Devils, but I think if they take care of their business, it'll be fine. And I want to say that all they really need to do is come in and play their game. Come in and play New Jersey Devils hockey, and go for the victory. That's it. Go for the victory. We have the players. We have the goaltending, and I'm assuming it's going to be Schmidt tonight. Just go for the win. Go for the win. Just play the game like we know how to play. That's the big thing.
Absolutely. So I have a stat for you.
Okay.
Players in the last 40 years to start the season with 14 points or more in the first 5 games.
Okay.
Kevin Stevens, Mario Lemieux, Brent Sutter, Mike Bossy, and Wayne Gretzky.
That's great.
Connor McDavid or Sidney Crosby or Evgeny Malkin or Alexander Ovechkin or Patrick Kane or Steven Stamkos, all the best offensive players from the last 20 years, none of them have done that.
That's great company to be in. It really is.
It really,
great
really
company
is.
To be in.
Absolutely.
If you have that output early on, you should have a good season. But here's the thing. Teams already know Jack Hughes is the guy to start zeroing in on. We're going to have to get ready for teams to really start clamping down on him, putting the grinders against him so he doesn't have the space. But that's the thing about Jack. He's so slippery. that he'll find a way to produce offense, and that's really what we need out of Jack. If he's not scoring a goal, get an assist, produce offense any way possible.
I couldn't agree more. Now, I keep going back to that New York Islanders game, the overtime game-winning goal that he scored. I forget what poor soul it was that was defending him on that play. That dude defended him very well, in my opinion. He had everything he needed to do on Jack Hughes, and Jack Hughes made that quick shimmy that only about 5 players in the world can do right now at top speed, and didn't lose the puck and was able to get a quick shot on goal. It's stuff like that makes me wonder, like, all right, bring your best defenders on Jack Hughes. Bring your grimiest grinders against Jack Hughes, and we'll see if he can continue doing stuff like that. Every now and then someone's going to lay him out, right? Like, that's just going to happen.
It's going to happen.
But
it's hockey.
Exactly. So I just am so proud of the way his season has started, and he's carrying along Bratt with him, and Toffoli's playing well. He set up Nico. I think we remember last year, things were a little slow for the Devils in general when they started 0-2-2, and he sure didn't have a point there either. And then once he got that first goal, it's like it was off to the races for him too. So if you can get him kind of producing a little bit with Mercer and Meyer, and you already got Toffoli and Hughes and Bratt off on a roll, and Dougie Hamilton has probably been one of the best free agent signings in Devils history, and the goaltending holds up. I mean, you got the making of one of the top teams in the league here, and it's exactly what we were hoping for over the summer, and I'm really excited that it's starting to come alive.
This is something we've been hoping for since that playoff run, whatever that is, 2016-17. It feels so long ago. Not obviously last year's playoff run, but this is what we've been waiting for. This is that team that we know that we've been waiting for a long time. That's going to be consistently in the playoffs, and just an all-around great team. And you got to credit Fitzy for, while it was miserable getting to this point, building a team the right way, building a team from the ground up, looking for players with character, players that'll fit, and not just the flash in the pan, players that are just going to get butts in the seats. We're getting that now because we're successful. Like, they built this team correctly.
Absolutely. And like you said, it didn't happen overnight. Building it correctly is not easy. We had to sit there and wait for Jack Hughes to become what he was.
Yes,
like
we did.
He kind of had a tough rookie season. He had a better rookie season by far. It wasn't close.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, is Jack Hughes just going to be like a second-line center, like a pretty good player? Is he going to be like Dylan Strome? Or is he going to be freaking a super-duper star? He actually turned out to be a super-duper star, and we're looking for more from Meyer and Mercer on the wings. But, hey, one last player we'll touch on an individual basis. Alexander Holtz got the game tied yesterday. Right? Really, really cool to see him on the board. And, man, imagine if he became like a 15, 20-goal scorer. Like, he's a 7th overall pick. Like, if he found a way to carve out himself a role similar to how Michael McLeod did, that would do wonders for this team.
Yeah. Like, just think of how long we've been waiting for Holtz to finally come to fruition and to be the player that we've all hoped and kind of thought he could be. Last night's goal might finally be the start of that. It's kind of like a finally, here it is. Because as frustrating as Holtz has been, Devils fans have had this hope that this guy's going to turn out. And we've seen glimpses of it, but hopefully last night is really the start of all of that.
Absolutely. Now, everybody who's watching on the YouTube, start loading in your predictions
Let's bring it
right
on.
now. We want to see them. The Shorts guy, the New Jersey Devils, coming off a big victory against the Montreal Canadiens. They blue, black, and rouge. They're playing a different red, white, and blue team. I almost said red, white, and blue. The different red, white, and blue team of the Washington Capitals. What's your prediction?
Prediction, man. No matter what I predict, I'm going to be wrong, so let's just go for it. Devils victory 4-2 tonight. Akira Schmid plays big. Jack Hughes with a goal. Toffoli with a goal. And who else do I want to predict the score tonight? In honor of Beer Baron, who's getting me into the game tonight, Mikey McLeod with the goal tonight.
There you go. Shout out Beer Baron.
Yep.
So we got a couple people throwing their stuff in the chat. I'll read a couple of them, then I'll give mine, then I'll read any extras that come in late. Steve Engel says the same score from last night, 5-2. Beachmaster agrees and goes 5-2. Ramona Rice with the 5-1.
5-1. Ramona's good at this.
She is, and Selecta agrees with her 5-1. Steve Engel 5-2. Morgan says 6-1 Devils.
6-1.
Phil says 5-1 Devils. And then I'm trying to see if they like when. Oh, there they are. Eric says 4-1 Devils. Steven says 5-2 Devils. 6-3 Devils. Schmidt has been off early. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen today. The Capitals are a little bit different of a team. We'll see.
They are.
For me, my prediction, I think the Devils are going to win this game by a score of 4-1.
4-1. Sammy just put his prediction.
Yeah.
7-3 Devils.
7-3 Devils. Wow, with 7 goals at home against the Capitals. Just be so sweet.
That would be sweet. Just celebrating 7 goals here tonight in this building. And I'll tell you what. Wow. Okay, I just got to point this out. There's a Seattle Kraken jersey across from me at the bar, which is pretty wild. But not for nothing, for a Wednesday night, the bar's pretty full here in American Whiskey. Home of the Let's Go Devils podcast, and also where you can get the Ann Crew Brews starting on November 10th at our launch party. It's been a pretty good crowd tonight, so I'll take 7-3 with a big crowd in the building celebrating Devils goals.
I would absolutely love to see a 7-3 victory,
gosh,
man.
so
Scoring all those goals. You would assume Jack Hughes has a couple points. You'd assume Nico Hischier and Timo Meyer. Everyone's contributing if they're getting up 7 goals. So, you know, hopefully that happens. Hopefully the Devils are able to kind of pull out a win here. I do want to encourage everyone to tune into Devils After Dark. Once the game is over, obviously, between the New Jersey Devils and the Washington Capitals, you'll be on with Scotty of Sirius XM and recapping the game that was. And the game is on TNT tonight for those of you watching at home. It's a national broadcast.
Yeah, well,
it's
they got
the only game in town.
They got to broadcast the only game nationally.
Yes, which is really cool because the Devils, they were one of 2 teams that played a team coming off a back-to-back because there was only one game on Monday night. But, you know, I'm super excited for this game. I'm glad it's on national.
Yeah.
And it should be a really good time. Shorts guy, is there anything else you want to get off your chest before we head out of here?
No, I'm happy to be here in Newark. It's I'll tell you what, after last season, this is such a fun vibe to be in Newark now. It's such a fun vibe to be here at American Whiskey. Our home, which is really awesome to say. I'm just happy to be here, and it's October. I haven't been this excited for October games and looking forward to the long season ahead in a long time. So it's a great vibe. I love it, and I love being a Devils fan.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. This team is finally good. We love talking about good New Jersey Devils hockey. It's way better than it was the previous handful of years before last year. I love it so much. I love doing this show so much. And like I said, Devils After Dark, right when the game is over, hopefully celebrating a big win over the Washington Capitals. As the great Sam Wu said and coined, let's go Devils.